What's going on, guys? We are going to do something completely different today. We are going to go over my old custom build portfolio so you guys can see what led up to all this mess we got going on now. I'm just going to go through some of these photos with you and give you guys some explanations about what the hell is going on. Anyway, this is my semi-truck bicycle, motorized with a 110cc. It's an older build. I no longer have it. It got cut up and turned into other things. Uh, Probably about top speed of 55 with a suicide shifter. It was built two-dimensionally, look like the side of a semi-truck. I decided to add the third wheel on there to give it some more realistic, well, you get the point. Anyway, this bike was so heavy that nobody could lift it if it got a flat tire. So I ended up taking a scissor jack out of a car, welding the socket to the end of it, welding it to the bottom of the bike, and that's how we would end up changing tires back then. Many years ago, I was trying to get my own reality show, and I was in talks with some people in California, a company called Superfine Films. And one of the biggest reasons they didn't want to give me a reality show is because I didn't have a business to film out of, which broke my heart because all I wanted was one season. It would have been crazy. Alright, let's move it on here. That'll work. I built this one probably a couple years ago, 3 years ago maybe. It had a couple different engines in it. One of the other bikes I'm going to show you had a little bit of flex to it, even though it was one of my favorite bikes. And this one I wanted no flex. Well, guess what? I got what I wanted, no flex, but it ended up being really heavy. And I did like the color of it, but I don't know. Anyway, that motor there is a little 250 Chinese air-cooled 4-stroke dirt bike engine. And it vibrated the crap out of that bike so bad. Alright, here we have the same bike. This has a 420 in it with a torque converter. I do not like torque converters on things with bigger wheels. They might get you going, but they just don't really have any top speed. On the smaller wheels, you can get away with a little better gear ratio. Okay, you guys might recognize this one from my channel in the video with my buddy driving it. This is one of my favorites. Simple, clean. It did kind of flexed from side to side, not really up and down, which kind of made it a little difficult to drive. By the time I got done figuring it out, it got taken apart and set up for another one, I guess. Same bike. I didn't live that far away from Hoover Dam at the end of Vegas there, so that at least tells you that the bike is fast enough to go down the highway anyway to get from Henderson to the dam. This thing was a pain in my ass. I never built a really big go-kart before, but I had an XX brother-in-law? Was it 2 marriages ago? He commissioned me to build this thing. Yeah, that was a lot of work. And it was a pain in the butt designing that suspension and everything else. Here's another shot of it. Those floorboards. Those floorboards came from Lowe's. They were recycled. I just put them in between the metal. They look good. Pretty good so far. You could also see this on one of my videos on my channel. The bobber. You could also see this on one of the videos on my channel. This bike looked really nice and worked pretty well for the most part, but the distance that I had between the chain, between the engine and the rear tire, it I don't know. I don't know if the bike twisted, or just flexed enough to throw the chain, and it threw the chain a lot. Oh, if you guys are wondering what that is back there, that's my wife's father. Passed away a couple years ago, and he was immortalized into a pillow. Okay, this one right here, this is one of my first recumbents that I built, motorcycle-wise, and that engine was a 420. It was fully pimped out to the max. It had just about everything you could put on there. Top speed of 70. I mean, that was the absolute top speed, and conditions would have to be right for you to reach it. But I do hold an unofficial record from driving this from Vegas to Laughlin and back again. I ended up putting a gas pedal on there, and that was a little stupid. Don't put a gas pedal on your bike. Your feet are locked into position, and they cramp, and it hurts, and it just sucks. But it did allow me to drive with no hands, which is kind of interesting. This right here, the seat used to be in 3 pieces at a different angle, but it was almost like I was ended up taking a nap on there, so did it more vertical. For some reason, my dumbass just didn't stop to think to go out and buy a spun aluminum tank, or maybe I didn't know they existed back then. So I just built my own gas tank out of who knows how heavy a pipe that was. And the kickstand was on the wrong side. Eventually I got a kickstand on the near side. And this bike was incredibly heavy. When I cut it apart to build something else, I couldn't believe how much it weighed. But that's kind of, see the big gulp cup holder there. I ran into issues, and I'll explain that in another build here. Anyway, this is the lime green one you saw before, but it had a different down tubes between the fork and the seat, and it had a 250 Ninja motor in it. And yeah, the bike was a little heavy, even with that little 250 motor in there. And I don't know what I was thinking. I put that box on, and yeah, it's just no good, no good. Alright, this bike here had 2 different engines in it. I believe it had originally a 420 motor in there. And you can kind of see the cup holder. I got tired of the wind cutting through my cups, melting my ice in the Vegas summer in about 30 seconds after leaving the store. So, solved that problem. Built a ginormous cup holder for the insulated mugs. That there is a ratchet, and it worked pretty good. I could reach down my front of my toes there and click the little lever over and be able to swing the ratchet up. Yeah, that front end came off that black Recumbent, the one I said I took from Vegas to Laughlin. So, back then I just didn't have a lot of money, and if I wanted to build something new, cut up what I had before and reinvented it. Okay, this trike here you can see on my YouTube channel also. I took this out off-roading. I mean hard off-roading, violent off-roading, and it held up fine, except for the single shock in the rear, which ended up putting a curve in my rear swing arm where the motor was, and it got taken apart, and yeah, learned my lesson. No single shock back there. This one I built for a roommate long time ago. Very simple. Same thing. I think it was a little. You know what? I think that was a Honda motor. I don't think that was Chinese. But this one ran for quite a while. You see my interesting exhaust work there. Kill me. All right. This here is my Mad Dog 150. You could also see it on my YouTube channel. And, well, my son is still in Vegas, and he's the current owner of it now, and he likes this thing a lot. All right, this here. Oh, this trike. Oh my god, the memories of this thing. It had no rear suspension, and I learned real quickly that no rear suspension will break everything. Oddly enough, it never broke the frame, but it cracked the gas tank, it bent axles, it sheared grade 8 bolts, the vibration, it just chucked the headlight off onto the fender. This is when I learned to install rear suspension on things. I believe there's also a video of this on my YouTube channel. Remember how I was telling you that like with the Cup has this is what it looked like with the 420 motor in there. Yeah, I was driving to work one day. I was working at the courthouse, and I was going down to 95, and for some reason my peg decided it wanted to eject itself off the bike on the freeway with the drink. And who knows whose fender or radiator or transmission ended up getting stuck in, but the thing that pissed me off the most was I just filled up that drink. Now I didn't have a drink on the way to work. Alright, this one had a front end of a scooter, and it had a little Predator 212 on the back. And, you know, I just had just a little basic little racing seat attached to it. One of my problems is I'm shorter, and the dish of the seat was a little too deep, and I could barely hang my legs out to touch the ground, which made it a little awkward to drive, to say the least. And in hindsight, I really should just put a pad in there or something to lift me up. Ended up being sold, and it was sold between several people around Las Vegas, and just kept popping up every few months somewhere for sale. Last I seen this thing, it got beat up really bad, and looked like it was in a, I don't know, looked like it was in a war zone or something. So, and if you guys, this is where I got my start. I was obsessed with building recumbent bicycles. I rarely put a motor on them, but sometimes I like the long wheelbase. That's over the seat steering one. That one had a hitch on it. Stupid camera won't focus. There we go. That was under the seat steering. That's a trike. It's got a ghost ring and a sprocket. Here's some more of them. I was obsessed with recumbent bicycles when I found out what they were back in the early 2000s, and I was on a quest to build as many of them as I possibly could. And I have stacks and stacks of pictures of these things. And here's some more. Come on, focus. I built some choppers and some other bikes, but anyway, guys, this is stuff that I couldn't put in a video, and this is the only way that I could. I really wish I would have took more photos of a lot of the builds I had. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and for all of you aspiring builders out there who contact me from time to time, hopefully just gives you guys a little more ideas in your head to go ahead and build that bike you've been dreaming of. Alright guys, have a good day.